I promised last episode that I would come back and record a few of my follow-on thoughts and dive a little deeper into some of the themes that came up in my conversation, my interview with Lida Citroen on my last episode. Great interview, one of my favorites actually, and it's certainly a high value conversation that if you haven't already checked it out, I would encourage you to go and listen to. Lida is the author of a great book called The New Rules of Influence, where she talks really about how anyone can have more influence and everyone should have more influence and some of the things that we need to be thinking about doing in order to have that. And that's what I want to get into today. And there's one key element of it, and I think it was one of the key things for Leader as well, but something that really struck me and got me thinking about a lot of things going on for myself and with clients and people I've worked with over the years. It really spreads very far, but it's a core concept and I want to share it with you. So welcome to Present Influence, the show that helps coaches, speakers, and business leaders develop the communication skills to impact, influence, and inspire. My name is John Ball. I'm a keynote coach, professional speaker, and your guide on this journey to mastery level communication and presentation skills. My mission is to provide professional communicators like you with everything you need to maximize your impact, connect with audiences, and present with influence. Follow the show on your favorite podcast app for weekly episodes and interviews with influence experts. And if we're not already connected on LinkedIn, come and connect with me there and check out the weekly Present Influence newsletter that you can access there. So to come back to what we were talking about with Lida, and the thing that really stayed with me the most from that conversation was the concept of having courage. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought how important that was, and where we often lack courage. And I'll tell you something that comes up, and I may have mentioned it in previous episodes, so it may not be an unfamiliar idea to some of you, but very often I found, and other coaches and people I've worked with find, that you will work so hard and get to a certain point and then find yourself pulling back and struggling to understand how and why that's happening. And I think it is, to some degree, a level of getting so far out of our comfort zone that we maybe get to a feeling that we're about to attempt a tightrope walk without a safety net. And we've never done it before. It's maybe understandable that a high level of fear or doubt starts to creep up and has us questioning ourselves, pulling back. It is this whole principle of people who are big thinkers, and I'm hesitant to say intelligent because there's so many different types of intelligence, but maybe people who know that they are overthinkers and have maybe the kind of intelligence that has them always asking questions about themselves. Those are the people, I'm one of them too, who often find yourself questioning, whereas very often people who have much more maybe active intelligence, where they will go for it and make things happen and less time questioning about it, are the ones who get results faster because they're not slowing themselves down to do that. And so it does take, I think, a level of courage to push through what ultimately is what would we call it, a critical point, as we are perturbating, considering ourselves and our options and our place in the world and wherever else is coming up for us. If we overdo that, we're not pushing through. We retreat into our heads, into our minds, and we get too cerebral about everything. And as a result, we become uncertain. As a result, we become doubtful of taking action. And so we hold ourselves back. And so we'll get to a certain point of, I wouldn't even say, it's not even necessarily discomfort, but a certain point of being so far along with something that shit's about to get real. And at that point, we may find ourselves starting to pull back from that. And this is where courage really matters. To push through, to keep going, even if it's slow progress, to keep doing something, keep yourself on the track, get coaching, get extra accountability, ask for help from friends, trusted guides, whoever you have in your life or whoever you're aware of that could help you to push through this and get to the other side of it. Because without that, you will always find yourself only ever getting so far along with something. And then we often call this thing the shiny object syndrome, but looking for something that's going to seem easier. But it's not really even that's the case. It's more a case of we're just going to repeat that pattern over again, and we're going to get to that same position over again where it's about to get really real, and we are not feeling prepared for it, or we don't know how to be, how to do, how to act at that particular point, and all that uncertainty becomes overwhelming. And so we look for certainty again. We look for something that looks like a bigger opportunity for us, or an easier opportunity, and much more appealing. We can start to make lots of progress with it, and we can feel really happy and excited because we're taking action still, but we're not breaking through. So if you really want to break through, you're going to have to get clear. Either, if you can't do it by yourself, get some external input to help guide you through to the things that you need to be doing actively to get to the other side of this. As challenging and maybe even painful, not physically so much, but more emotionally or mentally difficult, challenging, painful to some degree, it's hard to get to the other side of that. But you can. And that is why your courage is needed, because if it wasn't going to be a big challenge for you, you wouldn't need to be courageous. You just wouldn't need it. It would be easy. Everyone would be able to do it. You've probably heard that thing before of success is hard, but so is the opposite of success. Failure is hard. Struggle is hard. Choose your hard. Choose your difficult. And this is where we have to put it into the context of exercise. Getting fit is hard. Believe me, I know. I'm trying to. This is my journey at the moment. Getting fit, getting in shape is hard. But being an overweight couch potato is also hard for different reasons. Hard on your health, hard on your energy, hard on your results, hard on your self-image. That's also hard, maybe even harder in some ways. But the getting up every day, going and exercising, developing consistency, growing and pushing yourself, that's hard too, in a different way. But which level of hard are you going to choose? It still takes courage to do that. Believe me, it takes some courage for me to put on swimming trunks and go and have a swim in a pool where people can see me. That takes a certain degree of courage. But once having done it a certain amount of times, you start to realize people don't really care. People are maybe more focused on themselves. And to my experience, actually, is that the people who I regularly see at the swimming pool at the gym are very friendly. And so there's almost a bit of community there, which makes it less hard. But if I didn't push through, I wouldn't have got to that point. And there's still further to go. This is the same for us as speakers, as coaches, as professional communicators. There's going to be these levels that you would like to get to. You probably have some idea of what success looks like for you. But are you really prepared to do what it will take to hit that level of success? Do you really want it? You have to want it, and you have to then be courageous for it. Get clear on what has to happen to get there. If you know where you would like to be professionally by the end of this year, work backwards from there. What are the actions that are going to help you do that? What are the relationships that you need to develop to help you get there as well? Where do you need to be putting yourself in order to achieve these outcomes? It's going to mean stepping outside of your comfort zone. Good news is you don't have to do it alone. There's people like me around who will help you to do that, whether that's listening to the podcast or whether that's working together one-on-one or in a group format or with me or with whoever else. There are people who can support you through this journey. I have my own coaches, and I hope you do too, because it's very hard to do this alone. We spend a lot of our lives, if we are self-employed speakers or coaches, business owners, we very often will spend a lot of our lives, a lot of our professional lives, by ourselves. Now, even if we do attend networking meetings or try and keep up to some degree with a social group or have some people working with us, maybe we're doing Zoom meetings and stuff, but it's still not the same as a lot of the physical interaction and connection. Being live in person with other people is very different energy to virtual meetings. We know this. And very often we miss a lot of it because we spend so much time working by ourselves. That can lead us into emotional states that aren't really super supportive for us, but it can also lead us in having to be everything, not just having to be everything in our business, but having to be everything to ourselves as well. Having to be the cheerleader, having to be the coach, having to be the mentor for ourselves. We just can't do it all. It's okay to ask for help. It's not a sign that you failed or any kind of weakness. It's actually a sign of strength. One of the things I wish I'd done the soonest when I first started out in business for myself was finding a mentor. I really wish I'd done that. I certainly found a coach, but I really needed a mentor, someone who could show me how to work through the different levels of growing a business and making it work, make it become sustainable, develop consistency, have all the essential things in place. Because I didn't have the first clue about running a business or getting clients. I just thought you create it and they will come. I very much have that. And I see so many people do that these days. Oh, it's like, I'll put my website up. People will just come now. It doesn't work that way. Started my podcast. People will come. It doesn't work that way. You started your coaching business. Clients will come. It doesn't work that way. We know it doesn't. And you will always hear these rare stories of someone who everything comes super easy to them. Don't resent that. There's a whole principle of resistance that we create ourselves. If we resent other people's good luck or success, we don't even really know if it is good luck or success. If somebody gets to certain levels of success without any level of challenge or growth in order to do that, they're probably not going to be able to sustain it, or they're not going to even have the best experience whilst they do that. You just don't know. So don't rush to judge these people negatively because you don't know how things are going to work out for them. You don't know what's going on under the surface for anybody. Don't resent it in other people. Celebrate it. Be happy for what they have that you might want for yourself. Sometimes, okay, sure, sometimes we might appreciate a bit less challenge in our lives. And some of the challenges we don't always have control of. But very often, not always, but very often, one of the things that can really hold us back is not being more intentional in our lives about what it is we want to be, do, have, and create. So a lot of the challenges that we can end up facing are ones that we haven't chosen, that we just end up in by default rather than intention, instead of the ones that we choose for ourselves. Because when we choose our own path and when we forge our way along, as difficult and challenging as that can be, well, our experience will tend to show that the challenges we face are the ones that we have chosen, and we feel ready to meet those. Now, of course, there's always going to be some challenges in our lives that are curveballs, that are things we didn't choose, that we have no control over. But there are so many elements that we can have some degree of control or at least influence over, much more than we do if we just have life happen to us rather than be intentional and proactive for ourselves and our business and our lives and have the courage to push through even when things get challenging. So I don't know what your dreams are as a speaker, as a coach, as a professional communicator, but I would love to. I'd love to hear them. And you can certainly get in touch with me on LinkedIn. You can go to presentinfluence.com and visit the website and drop me a line through that. I don't mind how I hear from you, but I would love to hear what it is you want to achieve. And if anything I've spoken about today resonates with you at all, where are the places that you perhaps feel that you need a bit of help to find the courage and push through to get to the level that you want to get to? I not that long ago worked with a friend of mine, Kerry, and Kerry is an amazing person. She's in a mastermind group that I'm in, and she asked if we could work together a bit, and I said, sure, I'd love to work with her. She thinks she's a fantastic person. One of the things we realized working together is like she'd known for quite a while that her keynote speeches weren't really getting the effect or the results that she was wanting them to get. Now, I don't know exactly how long that was going on for, but certainly longer than it needed, to a point where, I only had to look at the outline for the keynote talk to realize straight away one of the main things that was wrong there and that needed to be looked at to start making some positive changes and moving along the way. And sometimes the answers can be really simple to the things that we maybe hold ourselves back in because of what we don't know, because of what we don't apply, because of what we sometimes are afraid of. And because we do sometimes struggle to find the courage to ask for help, to push on through and keep going, when sometimes it feels easier to maybe stay where we are or maybe even pull back. Now, I want for you only great things. I want your success is the whole point of this show. The whole reason that Present Influence has been running as a podcast for over 5 years now is to hopefully help and make a difference for you in the outcomes that you want to be, do, have, and create in your life. And so here's what I'll finish with today. If you don't have clarity right now on what success looks like for you or what you really need to be doing in order to help get you there, I want to invite you to come and have a conversation with me. Book a free discovery call through my website, presentinfluence.com. We'll have a chat. We'll help get you on the way to whatever it is you want to be, whether that's us working together or whether it's just helping to point you in the right direction. Whatever that ends up looking like is fine. But it will cost you nothing except 15 minutes of your time at the most to have that conversation and help you at least reset your compass as to where you want to get to and have a bit of clarity and strategy for how you're going to get there. And if I'm not the person you want to have that conversation with, that's fine. Have that conversation with someone else, but do have the conversation and don't stay stuck. Your dreams, your goals, your outcomes are achievable if you can find the courage to ask for help and push on through. Next time on the show, I'm going to be talking with Adam Hunt from White Label Comedy. And we're going to be talking about the products and services that he has created for his business that are helping business owners to create marketing strategies and online content in a way that really stands out with humor, because it's so hard to stand out in the online world. Humor is one of the key elements that can really do that for us. It may not be that's for everyone, but if humor is something that your brand could stand with a little bit more of and maybe even fits with your style of doing things, you really won't want to miss that episode with Adam Hunt next week. So please do tune in for that. And if you haven't listened to my conversation about the new rules of influence with Lida Citroen, please do go back and check that out. If you're not already following the show, please do make sure that you hit that follow button so that you get future episodes, as well as checking out whatever other episodes you might be interested in from what's quite an extensive back catalogue. But for now, wherever you're going, whatever you're doing, have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Take care.